right. Kristopher Marks, thank you so much for coming on to my podcast today. We are here because of Mental Health Awareness Month, culminating with next week's Mental Health Awareness Week. And I wanted to bring you on. First of all, thank you to Diana for introducing us.
Yes,
Thank you for
shout out to
coming on.
Diana.
Yes, thank you so much for her. She's a lovely lady. I'm
Yes.
so glad you were a part of my panel at last year's YEG Empowering You. I think we created something with the other two panelists. Um, I saw the impact. I don't know if you did, but the audience was full of men, and
It
that's
was it was an amazing
it.
event, and
Yeah, it was. Well, specifically the panel to me was really amazing because the impact I saw was there. So that was great.
there
Yeah.
was well, first of all, thank you for having me on. It's so good to see you.
Thank
And
you.
it just feels like minutes ago that that event happened, but that was all the way last year. Like I don't know
Yeah.
what time is doing, but it's going a lot faster
Yeah.
these days. Um, but like even just I mean the engagement was fantastic. Like you brought a really special community together, and even between us panelists, there was just so much presence and synergy in
Yes.
how we chatted, with each other and to the group. So it
Yes.
was fun. I can't wait to do the next one.
That was awesome. Yes, I'm looking forward to it and many other things. But anyway, so we're going back to the topic of mental health. I wanted you first to kind of share your story before we jump into that topic. So, well, and
Sure.
your story is related to the topic, but yeah, please carry on.
They're all intertwined, and I
Yeah.
appreciate the opportunities. So, yeah, I wasn't always a mental health guy.
Mm.
I started my company VİV 5 years ago. We're celebrating our 5-year anniversary this year.
Wow, congrats.
Yeah, thank you. Very exciting. It's been an amazing journey. I was gonna say a wild journey. It's been that too,
Yeah.
but I come at this work very honestly. I think like a lot of people who serve others in the community or as a resource. But definitely, I was inspired by my tenure. I worked in the trades for 13 years,
Wow.
and during that time, I lived with mental illness. It was undiagnosed until I was
Mm.
31. So we'll bring it full circle as to how I ended up in such a different career.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, thank you for the opportunity. So.
Yeah.
Um, when I was so I grew up in Edmonton here and went to high school in Sherwood Park. My parents had me very young. I was in the wedding photos, so
Oh,
they really stepped up and um, we were a really tight family growing up, and my mom and dad worked hard, and my brother came along 9.5 years later, so I got
oh,
to
wow.
enjoy. Um, being an only child for just about
Yes.
10 years, which was fantastic. I highly
Yes.
recommend it.
Agreed.
But he was such a blessing, and him and I are really close friends as well.
Oh, nice.
But as it happens sometimes, my parents ended up divorcing,
Mm.
and that was looking back, I think that was my first real traumatic experience. And
Okay.
um, for kids, it's difficult to process kind of in the moment what that looks like. We just experience all the emotions, and we're experiencing our parents as they do their best to
Yeah.
navigate, this new journey, new chapter, and each other and us kids, right? So when that happened, it was it was a difficult time, I think, for everybody. But
Mm.
my dad, especially, him and I were really close, and he raised me to be pretty resilient. And we didn't talk about feelings so much, or mental health, especially. So I
Hmm.
think the expectation was, they were trying their best as parents, and we're kind of hoping that us kids were just able to move forward and move along with
Right.
everything. But it was really hard, and the family dynamic. It's those are your people. Looking up to your
Mm.
parents.
Yeah.
They're your rock and your roots, and so that was difficult to navigate. And I look back, I was a straight A's student all through elementary and junior high, and
Mm.
it really started to take a toll on just kind of the weight of what I like a split family looks like, and navigating
Yeah.
two holidays and
Oh, yeah.
time and custody and things like that. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just a byproduct of what separation looks like, right? But
Right.
as a kid, you're not quite fully aware of how that's weighing on you.
Mm,
And so anyway, my dad ended up remarrying, and I moved in. Initially, I was living with my mom till I was about 12, and then I moved in with my dad and my new stepmom, and my brother followed,
yeah.
and they had a daughter as well. So we had a young one and a toddler, and then a teenager
Yeah.
in the house. So throughout high school, I did my best, but home life was challenging. It was a full house, and being the oldest, I was, you know, pretty self-sufficient, or just kind
Mm,
of,
yeah.
doing my own thing. So by the time I moved from Edmonton to Sherwood Park to start a new high school, so I was
Yeah.
15, and it was tough. It's like moving to
Yep.
Florida. Like I left
Yep.
all my friends behind from childhood, started
Mm-hmm.
fresh at a new school in Sherwood Park. For your listeners who may not be familiar, it's kind of a hamlet outside of Edmonton. So a smaller community, everybody grows up together, very tight community, and trying to make new friends. Everybody had their groups already.
Yeah.
So, but I was an outgoing kid, and I played guitar and loved drama class, and so I ventured to find new friends, and I played hockey as well. That was a big part of my life.
Mm.
And there was an incident that happened early on in grade 10. It was after school, and I was
Oh.
trying to befriend some boys, and we were kind of feeling each other out. Like we call it like boys being boys, right?
Yeah.
Um, so they were testing me and vice versa. And unfortunately, it escalated into a pretty serious assault essay. So,
Ooh.
um, it happened very quickly, and it was just an escalation of um, the four of us were after school, and there was no one around, and
Mm.
but I'd never experienced anything like that before,
Wow.
and it certainly left its mark. So,
Wow.
well, I mean, it changed my life forever. And I
Mm.
skipped school for a couple days
Wow.
afterwards. I didn't know if these boys even went to the school.
Oh.
We met outside school
Yeah.
hours, kind of outside. So,
Mm-hmm.
so I was worried about, what would be the consequence of, are there going to be rumors, or, what are people going to
Yeah.
think if they found out? And I was deeply ashamed and embarrassed, and
Mm.
definitely not equipped to tell anyone.
Yeah.
It was something I just kept. That was a big secret. And so anyway, I ended up finishing high school, but my grades definitely slipped, and my
Mm.
home life was really challenging. And a couple weeks after I graduated, I barely graduated. Um,
Wow.
yeah, so it was quite a fall off in grades and just engagement with school, which I used to love.
Mm-hmm.
But my parents asked me to move out just a couple weeks after graduation, and I say asked, but they told me that
Oh, okay.
like the challenges, it just kind of came to a head, and I was really unprepared to venture out in life. And just a few years earlier, I was destined for like university, and
Wow.
so there I was, the first of my friends to move out. I think I had $500 in a Canada savings bond, and moved to the worst part of Edmonton, cheapest
Wow.
apartment I could find. And,
Yeah.
as an 18-year-old, I just winged it, and I didn't have any life skills really. So
Yeah.
I made a lot of mistakes. I partied a lot and had a lot of fun, but I came home one day when I was 20. Um, so I made a go of it for about 2 years, had a blast. My Short Park friends would come into the city and party on the weekends and that, and
Oh,
I just
nice.
worked whatever job I could find, like
Yeah.
Staples, and I was a bartender at a liquor store and stuff like that. Came home one day, and there was an extra lock on my door, back when they could just do that. So I'd sacrificed rent for, I'm sure, beer or something
Oh.
at some point, and so I was locked out
Oh.
without notice, and that was the first night that I slept outdoors. So this was, I mean, this will date me, but it was 2002, so I didn't have a cell phone, didn't have a car, didn't have anything really.
Yeah.
So no way to really get a hold of anybody, but I was, again, just really embarrassed at what happened. And So I slept outside in a vestibule of a bank, and I got woken up
Wow.
by the boot of a security guard. And so I just spent the next few days and weeks just wandering around, and I lived unhoused um, for a number of weeks. And that was definitely the biggest fall from grace for me, from
Mhm.
like growing up as a middle class kid to
Yeah.
being properly homeless. And
Yeah.
I was picking through garbage and trying to feel
Wow.
safe. And there was one lady, and it was probably day 3 or 4. It was within the first week, and she saw me rummaging, for food, and she said, "You don't belong here." And I was dressed like my job at the time, I was in sales,
Okay.
like door to door sales.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so I was wearing like khakis and you know, a button-up shirt, and I said, "Yeah, you're right." And she looked at me, and I just tears welled up in my eyes. I still
Oh.
get really emotional thinking about this, and she said, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, come here." And she gave me a big hug, and she
Mm.
just said, "What happened?" And I told her, uh, the best I could. And she's like, "Well, stay away from those people, and oh, here's where you can sleep tonight. Come find me tomorrow."
Oh, nice.
And she was the first person to really notice me.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
and it was really comforting. And I wish I knew what happened to her, because she was very special. And so anyway, in my mind, I felt very abandoned, and resented my parents for giving up on
mm,
me in my mind and putting me in
yeah.
this position. Um, so within the next couple weeks, I did try to take my own life, and that was when I came to, it was sort of a catalyst into like, okay, I think I should reach out to. I had a good friend back in Sherwood Park. He was living at home with
Mm,
his parents, and I reached out to him. I told some lie. I said, "Hey, can I
yeah.
come crash with you?"
Yeah.
And so I kept building up all these secrets, and I had this thing that
Mm,
happened to me many years ago. I wasn't sleeping well. I had night terrors, and
wow.
just many secrets about my experience. And
Mm-hmm.
so, but I just kept plodding through, and but it really affected the way that I would show up for friends and at work. I had great
Mm-hmm.
friends who didn't know a thing, but whatever
Yeah.
version of Chris that they wanted, I was all over that. If they
Mm-hmm.
wanted the guitar guy, if they wanted
Yeah.
the compassionate guy, like, I wore a few different masks, and definitely became a bit of a people pleaser,
Mm,
but really lost my sense of identity. So fast forward through the years, I did end up reconciling with my parents and kind of started my life over again in Grand Prairie. They were living up there.
wow.
Uh, and I hit a crossroads when I was 24, and I called my dad and I said, I think I need to get out of this cycle
Mm-hmm.
of, yeah, partying and jobs. And my friends were moving on to their careers that they gone to school for. So
Right.
I like to joke that nobody moves to Grand Prairie to start their life over, but like,
Yeah.
I did. So it was around 2006, and like Alberta was doing great, and
Mm.
my dad set me up with a job as a laborer at some machine shop.
Oh, nice.
Um, so I was working hard, and it was so busy that, my boss said, "You seem like kind of a smart guy. Why don't I put you on a lathe and see how it goes?" And I said, "Sure." And I really enjoyed the trades. I enjoyed machining, especially because it's a high precision
Yeah.
metalworking trade.
Mm-hmm.
So it scratched a few, like the artistic itch in me. And
Yeah.
so I apprenticed through school. I did 4 years at NAIDS, became a journeyman machinist,
Nice.
and worked that career. And I had some great relationships, and formed a band, played in a band, and lived, a pretty cool life throughout my 30s.
Mm-hmm.
But I still had I had these experiences that I hadn't shared, and I was definitely impacted by the mental health side of things.
Mm-hmm.
So I would go through bouts of depression and flake out
Yeah.
on my job, and have to find a new one.
Oh,
in
wow.
effective
Okay.
relationships. Yeah, so when I was 31 was the first time I went to therapy. And I grew up watching shows like Frasier,
Mm,
thinking that that was what therapy was like. And I had some great friends who I would talk to, and I was a pretty good communicator, but I
mm-hmm.
was terrified of sharing like what happened. And
Mm,
so
yeah.
it took me like four tries, four cancellations to go.
Wow.
But I finally went in, and his name was Jorge, and he was the first person that I ever shared anything that happened when I was 15 or when I was 20.
Wow.
And I was just bawling, and he was quite emotional. And he said something really that I'll never forget. It was so powerful. But he said, "Chris, do you know what I do the other 5 days a week?" Because it was a pro bono, free
Yeah.
1 hour
Nice.
session. And I said, I don't know. He says, "I work at the Edmonton Max prison as a
Wow.
as a counselor therapist."
Yeah.
And he said, "What you just told me is like you need to understand that I've heard stories like yours before, and they end up with me." And he's like, "You need to understand how remarkable it is that you just forged your way through. You found yourself a career, you've had healthy relationships, and like you're struggling in some ways, but he's like, you need to understand that what you've accomplished um, is really impressive."
Yes.
So that was the first context I ever had, and it was very helpful. It was very
Yeah.
empowering, and it
Yeah.
motivated me to do more of that work. So that was my foray into the mental health sphere, to work
Mm-hmm.
on myself and heal from some things.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward to COVID, and a lot of us got laid off in the trades.
Mm,
Again, and kind of at a crossroads. I was approaching like 40,
mm-hmm.
and I thought, I I really care about people, and I'd started tweeting out things about therapy and my experiences, and just sharing things that I'd healed from, which was really good advice from my therapist, by the way.
Yeah.
'Cause she knew that I like maybe wanted to do some speaking or whatever, and she says, "Don't speak about anything you haven't healed from," and that
Right.
motivated me to keep working on myself. But so I founded VÍV, called it the VÍV Mental Health Initiative. No idea what it was going to be. The name VÍV comes from two words, survive and revive, which were
Right.
themes in my journey. So
Yeah.
I thought to work in mental health, you got to be a psychologist. So I enrolled in Athabasca University,
Wow.
staring at a 7 year plan to get a degree, and a bachelor's and a degree. And I was like, oh, I only have like 30 weeks of EI left, and I was all in. Like I had
Mm-hmm.
no savings or anything, so I took out a couple loans, and I thought, yeah, I'll just go for it. Like I don't know what this could look like, but I was
Hmm.
offered some opportunities to. I love teaching. I've taught guitar for many years. Always wanted to be a teacher, so I got an opportunity to facilitate some respectful workplace training.
Nice.
Shout out to Michelle Devlin at Creating People Power, who mentored me
Nice.
from nothing, and really showed
Nice.
me, what it was like to, not only create workshops and content that was valuable, but just to really care about, like, you're there to serve others. And
Mm-hmm.
she just had a great mentality about, it's a privilege to be on a stage or at the front of any room,
Yeah.
and that privilege is very meaningful to me. So over the last 5 years, I've grown VÍV into a company. We support workplaces, do a lot of community work. That's very important to me. That's like a third of our business structure. And I'm a keynote speaker now. I did my first TEDx last year. And it's just such a privilege to have
Mhm.
people's time and presence, and be a student of serving others, and being a part of the support network, and a liaison to these resources that really help me. So yeah, I'm just grateful for everything, and grateful for people like you. You create these platforms for people to share their stories, and I like to say my story is not special, and it's just mine. And I
Yeah.
think everybody should enjoy, have that opportunity to explain their why, and we all have something to teach each other. Anybody
Yes.
could go on a TEDx stage and blow our minds and teach us something,
Yeah.
or share a story that would just move us or inspire us. So I really like to help platform like like yourself, others to share their why, share their wisdom, their story, and that's me in a nutshell. So
Wow, that's
yeah,
first of all, yeah, I'm so honored to know someone who's a TEDx speaker, first of all, and to know that you took even that it's a brave step actually to get therapy even at that age. You know what I mean? There's probably not a lot of young men who would do that. So kudos to you for that. Really incredible that you went on this journey and learned so many things. Um, and just being able to open up and share your story now that you felt that you were I guess you were ashamed of to share before. That's really incredible. Really, really, truly incredible.
thank you.
So my question to you is like, are you seeing, do you notice a difference between when you were young and not getting the supports, the mental health supports, compared to, through the years? Do you see a difference, in the
Like
community out there?
progress for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, when I started VİV, mental health in the workplace especially was still in its bare infancy.
yeah,
Um, and even in 5 years, we've seen a massive shift, and people are reaping, organizations and companies are reaping the benefits of
yeah.
addressing it and supporting it. So I think, throughout my life, there's been a huge shift. I think COVID was a big catalyst too.
Yeah.
It was not only a very traumatic time for a lot of people, it was such a
Yeah.
massive disruption to our lives, but it also, it provided people with the space to really reflect on their priorities, their
Yeah.
life, their direction, and you saw a lot of people really chase opportunities to fulfill themselves and to heal.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I think that's just carried forward. So there's so many different ways. I love being creative with the work that I do. It's such a
Hmm.
gift to build something where I can express all the facets of Chris into the work that I'm passionate about.
Yes. Yeah.
But there's so many people coming together in their own ways, and whether it's holistic healing or more traditional westernized resources or combination, and with youth and communities, like there's just so much integration into expressing these conversations. But as far as being a boy growing up into a man,
Yeah.
um, I didn't set out to work in men's mental health, but being a man in this space, I've enjoyed a lot of those opportunities too, and I'm still growing, and learn a lot all the time. I've learned a lot about emotional regulation and about the fact that a lot of boys don't get a lot of practice
Yes.
safely expressing themselves. And I was raised,
Yes.
my dad was a guy I looked up to and still
Hmm.
do, and he's a strong man and coached my hockey team. So I really appreciate the resilience and the masculinity of what a lot of men feel is strength.
Yeah.
But my scope has broadened about what strong masculinity and healthy masculinity looks like. So I love my manly trade side and being a rock star, and like
Yeah.
I love that. I think whatever masculinity looks like for a man, it's taken all those healthy aspects and nurturing them. And I had to work on my communication skills and my
Hmm.
regulation and um, compassion. And there's this social uh, conversation happening too, which is it permeates everywhere. We can't
Yeah.
not hear about what everyone else is thinking and saying, and different
Yes.
ideas, good and bad, get
Hmm.
platformed.
Yeah.
And the discernment and having the literacy to discern, is this a healthy point of view, or is
Yeah.
it popularized by, you know, loud, by volume, or whatever
Yeah.
it may be. So yeah, it's great to see progress. We just keep moving forward, and
Yeah.
yeah, it empowers me. It excites me.
I wanted to mention on the topic, back to men's mental health, especially too. I saw a documentary, I think it was CBC, and it had to deal with the mental health of the men in the oil rigs and
Yes, yeah,
how that culminated into everything negative, right? How they dealt with keeping all that internal, rage, I guess you can say,
yeah.
drugs, alcohol, abuse, you name it. And I know they're starting to focus on that in the workplace. Have you seen, any, what's your comment on that, first of all?
I mean, it's an issue that really truly needs to be addressed. And
Yeah,
I guess I'll preface it by saying that the reason that we silo certain demographics and
yeah.
sort of parse out the mental health conversation
Hmm.
is because it's more effective to create resources that cater to certain demographics.
Right.
It's not divisive in any
Yeah,
way, but the fact that we talk about men's mental health or
yeah,
um, the impact on indigenous communities or
yeah.
whatever subsect that there is,
Hmm.
it's important, and it's not to say it's just equity. So
Yeah,
different groups need different resources and solutions. So to answer your question, I mean, I'm a proud tradesman, and I did a little bit of work. I was in a couple of camps throughout my tenure. Most of it was spent in shops, and but I've worked up in a couple of camps, and we have some great clients who are addressing this issue.
good.
But at its heart, it's, everybody copes in their own way,
Yeah,
and we're influenced with how we cope by the people around us. And
yes,
I can tell you that being a proud tradesman, and even when I say that, it's part of my identity, and it
yeah,
always was. So, for the men who work in oil and gas, a lot of it is around our personal identity and our self-worth.
yeah,
So when that's challenged, oil markets fluctuate and it affects our livelihood, the life that we've built, and it's very nuanced. So
yeah,
when it's good, it's great in some ways and unhealthy in some ways, and when it's
yeah.
not good, the ways that it's unhealthy is really pronounced. And it
Hmm.
not only affects the individual, but the safety of others. And but yes, to answer your question, I'm seeing a lot of progress. I think
Good.
um, everyone needs role models that speak to some type of personal benefit.
Yeah,
So everyone wants to look up to somebody that we aspire to, and it's one thing to say we should have better role models,
yeah,
but I think there's a lot of that manosphere like red pill dialogue happening, and it's just, for me,
yes,
it's because of the access of social media. But
yeah,
in those camp cultures and in the trades, where our peers, our friends, our coworkers, our family is coworkers, because a lot of those men, they're all away from their families and
yeah,
children and their true selves, their life, so their identity becomes their work, and it's really easy um, to just immerse yourself in the good and the bad of that. So
yeah.
I think to give, you know, companies a, a tangible benefit, here's
Hmm.
why it's worth investing. Not, in your heart of hearts, yes, we want to
Yeah,
take care of our teams, but there's a organizational benefit, and for the guys themselves, it's not like we've never felt alone or given up on or worthless. Like that, those are universal things
yeah,
every human being feels, but it's access to expressing them.
yeah,
It's the safety to practice conversations, to have outcomes that are personally beneficial. That's important. So
mhm,
every time we move the needle, it usually comes from a place of, thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk it out, to try
yeah,
anyway, and and then
yeah.
having strong role models in those cultures, identifying champions and promoting those conversations is helpful too.
That's that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing your insight there. I have three brothers and a lot of nephews, and some are going through some struggles right now, who don't want to admit it. Um, and part of it is not only the male stereotype, but also I'm from the Philippines, so there's that cultural challenge, cultural barrier,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to break that. Let me tell you. So yeah, so thank you for sharing that. It's huge to me. Women are tend to be more emotional, and we talk about our feelings, whereas what I've seen is men don't, and then they're programming, or how do you say it,
They're
raising their
conditioning,
children,
yeah.
yeah, conditioning their children to be that, which is, as we see, is it's not great. So I want to, platforms like this, and your organization, and just new organizations coming out like Kickstand and CASA that have been helping children for so long, I think are really important. So, and having just these conversations,
Yes.
to make it to make it normal, normalizing the conversation of mental health, normalizing the conversation of men being able to talk about their feelings. So thank you for sharing that.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Well, and thank you as well. You're part of the sphere and the platform that helps promote them. And if I can touch on one thing that you mentioned,
Yeah,
the societal or the cultural conditioning of not opening up.
yeah,
I think that there's different approaches that are going to resonate with different people.
yeah.
I think at the heart of it all, for someone who is maybe reluctant to seek help or to share kind of the truth about what they're experiencing, I have a lot of empathy for.
Mm,
I'm not the perfect mental health ambassador. I don't think anyone is. But I've sure learned a lot. And what stuck with me were the things that benefited me. Because my first question was like, why? It's way easier not to say anything, not to address difficult challenges.
mm,
Way easier. So for
mm.
anybody to change their behavior or to explore something that's new or foreign or
Yeah.
different, or there has to be something in it for them. And one of the key
Mm.
messages that I like to share is, that's we all have a selfish lens, and whatever there is something in it for you to do hard things,
Yeah,
but we have to talk about what those are.
yeah.
And, I really struggled with having night terrors and not sleeping well, having
Mm,
that affect my ability to show up for work, for friends,
right.
in relationships. I perpetuated that cycle for years. And it
Mm,
was so frustrating. And believe me, I'm a resilient person. I can do hard things, and I think resilience should be a part of the mental health conversation, and
yes.
we should always explore and promote it and reward it. But it looks different for everybody.
Yeah.
So I really lean into. I was very fortunate as well. I'm very close with my grandmother. It was her birthday on the
Aw.
29th of April,
Aw.
um, and she's one of my best friends. She was my functional mother for a lot of those
Yeah.
years and really encouraged me and never let me forget who I truly was. And
Hmm.
you know, I didn't always share everything with her, but just the fact that she believed in me.
Yeah.
Believing in people is the most powerful gift you can give them. Um, and when it comes to doing hard things and
Yeah.
seeking help, like it sucks, it's humbling to realize that you're in a position of need.
Yeah.
But boy, does it make your life easier in the long
Hmm.
run. And it's one thing to explain that, with your full chest, and you're like, I can help you if you talk about it.
Yeah.
I didn't know what that looked like, and most people
Yeah.
don't. So
Yeah.
being able to model some of what this looks like, and
Yeah.
I don't always say the right thing, and I'm learning as I go too, just like everybody, but it's worth it to
Yeah.
sleep better, to have friends that you can just show up and be yourself around and be
Hmm.
valued in the workplace for the work that everybody goes to work to try their
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
So
That's a good point. I want to shift the focus to the supports, right?
yes, yeah,
So you talked about the therapist and your grandma. They play a huge part in anyone's healing journey, anyone who has people that support them, right? That's huge. Um, and just the fact that, you mentioned it's so easy for me to talk about the people who make me feel like I'm valued, to talk about the people who make me feel like I matter. That's huge, right? That's a
Yes.
big part of it too. And so even with those who are, do try to show up when you're going through these struggles, can you comment on, what are ways that you saw or you've experienced that helped you, what did your support network do to get you there?
That's such a good question, and I'm so glad you asked that because it's experiential for each individual.
Yes.
And I'm also a supporter to people in my network and family, and I've
Awesome.
had to learn to be adaptable to them and their
Right.
needs. So I mean, speaking personally, I ended up at a point where I could look at myself objectively and be like, you know what, this is probably really frustrating at times for people who
Yeah.
love me because
Yeah.
I don't always know the answer or I just don't want
Yes.
to go there. So I can see that, and I joke, I do a
Yeah.
little bit of mental health stand up, and I joke about having to tolerate so,
Yeah.
people are in that self-loathing place or just that
Yeah.
place of I don't want to. But for me, it was just, what safety looks like, just somebody who really appreciates all of me. And
Yeah.
I'm a guy, I love working, getting my hands dirty and playing hockey, and the Alberta comes out the side of my mouth sometimes. I got that part of me, and but I love to write poetry and songs, and I have
Mm.
this compassion and softness. And I think the safest people in my life look at the full spectrum of Chris and go,
Hmm.
we love all of that.
Yeah.
And it gives you permission, and permission is that the biggest piece.
Yeah.
You have permission to show up authentically, so kind of organically, you
Yeah.
feel safe talking about the things that you keep tucked away, and
Hmm.
um, having a meal cooked or somebody coming over and helping me clean when I just can't and I'm in bed. Like those things mean so much. And, as a supporter, giving them the less emotional labor you can
Yes.
is the key. Not like what do you need, which is an important question, but
Yeah.
what if I did XYZ? What if I came
Hmm.
over and did this? You don't even have to come out of your room. You don't have to
Yeah.
talk to me, but let me help you tidy up because a clean
Yeah.
space helps us feel better.
Yes.
Yeah, so things like
Yes.
that are huge.
Bang on.
You
I
know,
want to
you get
share a
it.
story. I want to share one story that, because I just learned this through my own journey. Um, I have a friend who I call her my sister now because she showed up for me, even when I was mean to her, man. Oh yeah, I was like, you are not supporting me the way I want to be supported. How hard can this be? And apparently it was. And she has a
Yeah,
degree in psychology, and she was still, like, how do I? So we got into an argument, and I felt safe enough to do that because I knew that our relationship wouldn't end because of my anger or whatever, what I was feeling at that moment.
yeah,
And she says, you know what, I have to remove myself from this situation because it's not doing us any benefit. And I said, I'm really sorry. And the next day I said, I'm really sorry with my anger. I'm trying to figure out how to handle this myself. And so a couple days later, she says, you know what I can do? Maybe I can't support you the way that I think you want to be supported, but I can do this. And she gave me tickets to the ballet, and I went
wow,
alone. And I love like just to get away from all the chaos that's
yeah,
in my head, right? And that did wonders. And I said, you show up for me, you just show up for me in ways that I didn't even know that I needed. You know what I mean? And the communication's really awesome. So that really helped, her saying, you know what, I can't do it this way, but let me try this way. You know what I mean? And to
that's
me, that meant,
amazing.
yeah, to me thank you, Maddie. To me, that was everything, right? It may seem small to other people, but that was huge at that time for me. So yeah, I get you on
I
that,
love that.
Christopher. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think like you nailed it, like just someone who is willing to get creative and to keep
Yes.
trying on your behalf.
Yeah.
They're believing in you and they're
Yeah.
putting in effort, and it really means the world when someone's like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to give up. I know
Yeah.
you're in a place where you kind of feel like you want to,
Yeah.
but at least one of us is gonna keep trying and asking
Yeah.
and suggesting, and that's beautiful. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like to feel that I've showed up for her when she had some challenging times too. And so we're both kind of learning from each other on that support, spectrum.
Yeah,
So
that's beautiful.
yeah. Oh, this is a wonderful conversation. Oh my gosh. Oh, Christopher, this is so cool. Okay.
It's my pleasure. I
Yeah.
I love it. And yeah, I'm very grateful that we're having this talk.
Yes, thank you so much. So let's talk about your organization. You delved a little bit about that, but to our audience who doesn't know, maybe you can give a little bit more detail.
Sure. Yeah, I'm very proud of it, and it's a collaborative. Um, I I don't like to toot my own horn too much, because we're all part of like the space and the solution, and
Yeah,
I love collaborating and sharing. And so anyway, VİV Mental Health is, we support workplaces and communities and classrooms. Those kind of our three pillars.
yeah,
There's a lot of intersection between them, but in the workplace, we do a lot of like leadership training and employee engagement, team building.
nice.
Just we have so many different ways of going about that. I'm a creative guy, so it's very people focused and industry specific, and
Yeah.
just getting people comfortable, and having the opportunity for them, organizations, just people in general, to see what it
Hmm.
looks like to maybe share something vulnerable, to apply like a learn something we learn, and hear about the outcome and see it in action, and providing spaces to practice.
That's
Um,
awesome.
so the community work it was community who, it was like that woman who saw me, being able to support them and be involved is
Mm.
everything. So
Yeah.
I like to say, we make a lot of our revenue through the corporate and the corporate space and training in that, so we can
Hmm.
fund how passionate we are about community and classrooms. And
Oh,
I do a lot of work with youth. We have an amazing music program called Instrumental Health,
oh,
which I
nice.
facilitate. We've done that with youth and seniors and addiction recovery, and it just uses music as a catalyst to,
Yeah.
I don't always know my words, but sometimes there's a song that kind
Yeah.
of says it best. So we use that as a
Yeah.
catalyst to,
Oh, wow.
just to help people get to the next resource. And um, yeah, I'm really proud of the work that we do. And like Diana, you mentioned at the beginning, is someone I deeply respect, and she works in the accessibility space. So we
Hmm.
collaborate with uh, people who are experts in neurodiversity or accessibility or DEI and
Wow.
mental health, and it's just there's so much
Wow.
intersection in
Yes.
the impacts of each of those silos that we love
Hmm.
to bring it together. So our framework is called MEDIAN, which is an acronym for mental health, equity, diversity, inclusion, accessibility, and neurodiversity.
Oh,
So a lot of our
nice.
training really involves all of those aspects. And um, yeah, it's my dream. I'm so grateful. I'm so lucky to be doing this. And I just want everybody to be involved and share my platform or my opportunities. I think we all have something to teach each other. So it's great.
Absolutely. Wow, that's wonderful. You're making such a difference in the community for so many people. Amazing, amazing work. Do you have things coming up, like anything special coming up with your work?
We do, yeah. We're busy. So
Good.
next month is, well, I guess this month now, it's May
Yeah,
1st. So
today.
May is Mental
Yeah,
Health Month.
yeah.
So I'll be speaking at a few events.
Wonderful.
One in Medicine Hat, supporting the Alberta
Wow.
Motor Transport Association
Okay.
at their safety summits.
Mm-hmm.
You can go on our website at vivementalhealth.com and kind of see the full game. I don't have my calendar up here, but
Oh, that'll be
um,
posted for sure. Yeah,
there's
thanks.
a great public event. It's for entrepreneurs and just really interesting conversations. I'm
Yeah.
excited to be a part of it. It's called F Up Nights.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
and it's a chance for, business owners to kind of commiserate, come together and share what we've learned. And I have the privilege of speaking at the next one about connection, because building this business didn't come without sacrifice.
Yeah.
And I'm so blessed with amazing friends and people who come into my life, but um, there's been a lot of challenges with my capacity to nurture some
Mm,
really important relationships in my life and to forge new ones. So I'll be speaking about that and where,
nice.
how to find balance with that. It's a very humbling topic for me because
Hmm.
we all mean our best and people
Yeah.
support us, and when we can't show up for
Yeah.
others,
Yeah.
it's hard. So,
Yeah.
um, lastly, in June we're celebrating our 5-year anniversary, and
Wow.
I would love for you to come. It's our first ever event, first VİV event
Oh, wow.
called Revival,
Oh,
and
nice.
it's a two-part event. So it's a community expo during the day with we'll have like keynotes and workplace keynotes and ask a therapist, a whole panel of therapists
Oh,
for the
wow.
public to talk to and vendors and lots of stuff for kids. We'll do instrumental health there. And then in the
Nice.
evening is kind of an intimate gala for colleagues and friends and whoever wants to come. I'll be performing my first acoustic show in
Oh,
three
wow.
years.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so it'll be, with nice food and drinks and candles
Yeah.
and just a celebration of the community that I'm so lucky to be a part of. So June 13th is Revival. You can find tickets on Eventbrite, and
Okay.
I would love for you to be there, and you've been
Okay.
an amazing supporter. I just can't thank you enough. So
Oh, thank you so much. I feel like I haven't done enough, but and you've impacted me just by, all these conversations and showing up for my event, and I'm looking forward to further collaborations with you in the future for sure. This is
likewise,
awesome.
you do amazing work.
Amazing
I
work.
am so proud of you. So proud of you.
Yeah, let me talk about the capacity. That's another podcast for another day.
Yes. Yeah.
Before we end, I want to, because I could talk to you for hours about this. But before we end, I do want to ask you an important question, and that is what really matters to Christopher.
Uh, just growth.
Mm,
Just keep learning about yourself, and it's
mm,
weird and mushy and goopy
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah,
But at this point in my life, for if you're listening to this, it means you've survived 100% of everything every challenge that's ever come your way or came your way, and
yeah.
uh, that deserves to be celebrated. And I think, on the toughest days, and I have really challenging days, I
Mm,
look at, the people who look out for me and like take care of the people who take care of you.
yeah.
And
Oh,
if you're feeling alone, there are people who can't wait to support you and help you. And um, just keep your antennas up.
yeah.
My motto is I don't have to know you to care about you. Every room I walk in, it's just a privilege to be there. And um, it takes a village. Like it's an old
Yeah.
saying, but we all need each other and we deserve
Yes.
each other. And so
Hmm.
there's so many things that are important. You're important to me. Like
Oh, thank you. You are
uh,
too.
I think being a light when you're feeling shiny is beautiful. And when your
Yeah.
light's dim, someone can't wait to be a light for you. And that made it really easy for me to ask for help, is that it
Yeah.
was also an opportunity. Like I love it when people lean on me because I would love to step up for them. We're all waiting for that opportunity
Yeah.
to step up. So
Yeah.
keep that in mind. You're also doing a favor for someone who loves you and wants to help.
Yes. That's
So
awesome. Wow. Thank you so much, Christopher. Thank you. This has been
yeah,
amazing
it's my pleasure.
conversation.
You're so fun. I love our chats.